You join me on the floor of my office yet again for a new video, and during this video I want to read the new releases that I've got. I've got 4 arcs to read basically, or just early release copies. I want to get to them because I had Starsight sitting on my shelves for ages before it released, and I read it the week that it released and I really enjoyed it, and I regretted not picking it up sooner. So I don't want to do that again. I have 4 books to read, so we're going to try and finish all 4 in this video. First one is Milk Teeth by Caitlin Starling. I don't know much about this, but I do know that it's vampires and brooding and blood and urban setting. That's about it. It's a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I'm really excited. I've seen very good things. Then we have Fervor by Fervor? I need to Google how to say that word. But Fervor by Meg Smitherman. This is a really short read. I reckon I could read this in one night once my son goes to bed. So I'm going to try and read this one probably first, just so I can make a good dent. Then we have The Winged Game by Sophie Kim. I've seen, again, really good things from the people who have read this already. I don't know much. I know it's sort of academic rivals, I think, in like a sporting setting. But other than that, I don't know a lot. I want to go in blind as possible. This releases, I think this one is the first one to release it. I'll probably read this one first, just because it's super short. I can get this one done. This one releases, I believe, 30th of July. I could be wrong, but I think it's the 30th of July. And then The Winged Game releases on the 7th of July. But this one is going to take me a little bit longer to read. The downside to only having physical versions of these 3 books is that I can only read them at night time when my son is in bed. So it's going to take me a little bit longer. It's not like when he's napping, I can read on my Kindle, or I can listen to the audiobook when I go for walks or anything like that. I've just got the physical books to read. So it's going to take me a little bit longer. But the aim is to do this one sooner rather than later. I then also have All I Want for Christmas is Hugh, which is a e-arc from Bloomsbury that I got from NetGalley. So I want to try and read that one as well. That one doesn't release, I believe, until October, November time, but it's one of the arcs that I've got. So I want to try and read that one as well. So that's the aim for this video. I will keep you updated once I've made some progress.
Spacey, I've been lost inside a daydream. These hopes of mine could really break me, or catch me by surprise. Faces, some...
What just happened? I don't even know where to start talking about this book. I've got to whisper because the baby's in bed. I'm actually gobsmacked. I enjoyed that so much more than I thought I would. Given the fact that it was 150 pages, I wasn't expecting much, but it was so good. My mind is blown. That was really good. It was like gross and twisted and fucking weird, but it was really good. I had a great time. I'm leaning to a 4-star, but I think I'm going to sleep on it and I'll check in tomorrow. But at this current point in time, it's a 4-star. Wow. It's now the next day. Thought about it, slept on it. Definitely think that it's a 4-star read. Really glad that I read it, and I'm glad that I read it in one sitting. I think that made the experience that much better. So that is one of my advanced reader copies, early release books read. Granted, it was the smallest of them, so that was always going to happen quite quickly. Next, I'm going to jump into The Winged Game by Sophie Kim. Again, I don't know much about this one, but I've just seen very good things. I'm going to start this tonight. This one's going to take me a lot longer to read. Let me see how many pages it actually is. So about 530 pages. So it's definitely going to take me a lot longer to read this one. And it's hardback, so like bigger pages. Probably going to take me, if I'm only reading in the evenings, I'd say like a week maybe. Less than a week would be good, but we'll see. The character art that I got from the Siren Book Club is beautiful, but loved that, and it gives me sort of an indication, I guess, of the sport that they're going to be playing in this. Other than that, I don't know anything, so once I've read a few chapters tonight, I will update you.
Spacey, I've been lost inside a daydream. These hopes of mine could really break me, or catch me by surprise. Faces, sun-kissed skin inside a basement. LA kids just trying to make it. Who's that knocking at your door?
So it's been a couple of days since I last spoke to you. I am now about 45% of the way through the Winged Game, and I am very much enjoying it so far. I've been listening to it on audiobook and reading it physically as well. Last night it took a turn. I thought I kind of knew where it was going and it was going to be sort of low stakes and I guessed the plot, but now I'm very confused. Not confused, I'm in it, like I'm really enjoying it, but I'm like, oh, this is taking a twist I did not see coming. I'm enjoying the magic aspect and how that's sort of set up. To me, it's sort of Harry Potter but for adults, I guess. That's how I'm sort of picturing how the world is set up and the magic and things like that. I'm enjoying the angst and the banter. I think it's banter. They hate each other basically. But the actual sort of sport and the flying aspect I'm really enjoying as well. So far it's really good. I'm not sure where it's going to go now that we've sort of had another plot point introduced. I'm not sure where it's going to go. I feel like I just can't predict it at this point, which is good. I'm enjoying it. I'm hoping to finish it by the end of this week. It's Friday now, so if I can get some reading tonight and then tomorrow and Sunday, I should hopefully be able to finish it. But we'll see. So far, so good. So I finished the Wing Game last night. Had a great time, rating it 4.25 stars. I've just filmed a review for my TikTok page for it, but I had a really good time reading that book. It was definitely not what I was expecting. I don't know if I was, because I went into it so blind, I didn't know that it was more of a standalone, and so I was sort of, I don't know, I guess when you go into fantasy books now, you just sort of expect there to be like a cliffhanger and leading up to the next book and all those sorts of things, and because this didn't have that, I was sort of like, oh, okay, it's just ended. I think I connected really well with the characters, so if there is more books in that sort of world, then I definitely will be carrying on reading them. Overall, I had a really good time reading it, and I'm glad that I did. It was more low stakes fantasy, like it wasn't end of the world or anything like that. It was more just about the team and the sport. So it was low stakes and it was more like magical realism, I guess, or like it was set in the UK and it was set in like our world, so they had social media and all those sorts of things, but it was almost like Harry Potter, where you've got like the hidden magic aspect in the world and humans don't know about it and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it was fun, it was enjoyable, and I definitely had a great time reading it. I definitely recommend it to somebody looking for something a little bit less sort of intense, less world building, all of those sorts of things, but wants something more fantasy and magic. So it was fun. To continue this video, I'm going to be going into Milk Teeth next, which is coming out in October, I think it is this year. So that's my next sort of arc read to do. So the plan is to start Milk Teeth tonight. We'll see how I get on with that, and I'll update you once I'm sort of a little bit into the book and I know a little bit more about it, because at the moment I know nothing. I managed to start Milk Teeth last night. I'm about 40 pages of the way through and I had to put it down because I couldn't sleep if I carried on reading. It got creepy very fast. So far, I think I'm enjoying it a lot because it's different to what I normally read. And I think that's something that I'm finding at the moment, is I want to sort of expand my reading tastes and what I am reading, because reading the same sort of romantasy or romance, I think I'm just getting fatigued a little bit with similar storylines. And so this, I think I found this at the right point. The way that the sort of vampires are set up is quite unique. I've never read anything like it before, but the whole nourishment and all those sorts of things, I'm enjoying it. Enjoying it is like a morbid word to use for this story, but so far it's good. I'm going to try and read some more tonight. I'm going to have to read it like earlier in the night rather than at 10 o'clock just before I'm going to sleep. But so far, very good things. It's been a few days since I've updated you guys on where I'm at. I didn't really like film much during Milk Teeth, mostly because I've been away for work and stuff this week whilst I was reading it, and it's just been like super busy, and it's also been another heat wave. Typically every time I seem to film this heat wave, so it's just been survival with a baby and a heat wave. It's never fun. But I have finished 3 of the arcs that I've got, or the sort of new releases that I have. So I finished Fervor, finished the Wing Game, and then I finished Milk Teeth, not yesterday, the day before. And I'm definitely, with the heat wave and everything, I'm definitely not in a Christmas mood. So as much as I want to get to my arc of All I Want for Christmas Is You, I don't really want to read that when I'm not in the mood for like a Christmassy book, because I don't want it to like affect my rating or my enjoyment of it if I'm just not in the mood for it going into it anyway. So I'm going to leave that one for now. I've got a little while to read that one anyway. That does mean that we are at the end of the video, but I haven't actually shared my thoughts on Milk Tea yet, so let's talk about it. I ended up giving the book 4 stars. I feel like a 5-star book, like I'm trying to be a little bit more like, is this actually a 5-star read? Because I find like I just give them out quite a lot and then I'm like, that was a 5-star, but that was a 5-star. How, like, is that the same enjoyment level sort of thing? But I did end up giving Milk Teeth a 4-star and I actually enjoyed it a lot more than, I don't know, a lot more than I was sort of anticipating. I think when I think of like horror books or anything like scary, I always just think I'm not gonna like enjoy it as I would like a romance book or a fantasy book, but I actually really enjoyed it. The premise and the fresh take on a vampire story, I think that makes it such a different book than what I was expecting it to be. And it goes into sort of more stories of motherhood and the sacrifices you make and how draining it can be and all these sorts of things. And I also do think that the main character, there were points where I was like, oh my god, you are insufferable. Like, you are a narcissistic sort of person. And then it would switch and I'd feel sorry for her. And I genuinely don't know how I'm supposed to feel about her, I guess. Like, I was rooting for her, but at the same time, I also wasn't at some points because I was like reading it and wanting her to be successful. But then her being successful was like the detriment to others. And it was just, yeah, I don't know. I was just torn in how I felt about her. The ending as well, I think, was really good and how it was all sort of brought together. One thing I will say is like there were points where something would happen and we'd like move on to the next part, like the next scene, and a storyteller, the person who was telling the story, would almost like break the fourth wall and talk to me as I'm reading it. And there were points where she'd like say stuff that I was thinking. So she'd like answer a question that I'm like, well, what happened here? And they'd be like answer it. And it was just, ooh, creepy. Like, it was really well done and it was just creepy, just set me on edge. It's definitely a book that I would recommend for anyone looking for sort of a vampire book, but with a different take and a different perspective. I had a great time. I think it was really good. I definitely want to try some more books by Caitlin Starling because I think her writing is really good, and how she described things and the deterioration that we saw throughout the book, I think that was really well done. And I genuinely could not see where it was sort of going and where it was building up to. And I think anything like that where I'm not guessing it or assuming or knowing what's happening, if you can do that, then it must be written well. Either that or I'm done. So take from that what you will. That is going to end this video here. I don't know what my next one will be. I'm kind of umming and ahhing between a couple of different sort of reading vlog topics, I guess. But you'll see in the next video. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and make sure you read all 3 of those books because they are worth your time.